November 1st, 2017, in Des Moines, Iowa. Raja's family had always known her to be an outgoing baby, full of laughter and smiles. But this picture of childhood innocence would eventually be shattered in one of the most tragic cases that we have ever heard. On July 13, 2018, 8-month-old Raja spent the day with her father and grandmother, Tony Straight. It was a hot summer's day as Jayden and Raja stayed at Tony's house while she ran a couple of errands that afternoon. Jayden had supposedly been playing with his dog Nala and then set off fireworks outside while his daughter was sleeping in her car seat inside the house. Soon, Jayden decided that it was time to wake Raja from her nap. However, Raja was completely unresponsive and her body had gone limp. Her eyes remained closed, and Jayden was unable to see any movement indicating that she was breathing. In an instant, he frantically called his mother and asked that she rush them to the hospital. They soon arrived at Mercy Medical Center. There, Jayden handed Raja to a triage nurse, where the fight for the infant's life was only just beginning. He swiftly notified Rihanna of the situation, who came sprinting through the hospital doors only a short time later. She approached the front desk, a wave of emotions written across her face. The gravity of the heartbreaking ordeal became even more amplified as details of the horrific injuries Raja had endured were brought to light. One thing was for certain: this was no accident. The police were quickly notified by the hospital, and given the severity of Raja's injuries, a full-blown investigation broke open that very day. One person was placed at the top of the suspect list: Jayden. The following never-before-seen footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a licensed professional counselor. Detectives are eager to sit down with the young father in hopes to uncover just how the horrific events could have possibly taken place, especially given the fact that Raja had been in Jayden's care all day. Looking extremely devastated, Jayden is taken out of the hospital by multiple officers and driven to the local Des Moines police station. Since he's a minor, Tony is also asked to meet with the detectives, as she must give consent to the interviewing of her son. A distraught Jayden is placed into the interrogation room. Within a short couple of minutes, he notices the camera and begins to speak.
Baby, I love you. Baby, I love you. I love you. I will get to this. I will get to it. I really do. I love you.
Minutes later, Tony enters the room, appearing rather stoic despite the ensuing situation. Pay attention to her behavior, as you may find it rather odd, given that her granddaughter is in critical condition.
How's she doing? Singing? Yeah, but like, I don't know. She's like, so she's still breathing on the machine? Yeah. Can you get outside? Outside. Out in the lobby. On the first one? Yeah, just right out here. Oh, literally right out here? In the lobby of the police station. I believe it's first one. Yes, yeah.
Well, Jayden, I'll tell you what, I appreciate you coming down. Okay, I know this is probably the last place you want to be, like I told you over at the hospital. Is what I want to do is just set up a timeline, okay? Kind of ask you what happened, everything like that. Then we'll get you back to the hospital, okay? Because of your age, we need to have your mother here, okay? And I kind of let her know on the way up. Anytime that I have somebody here in the station and I'm talking to them about a case, I read what's called their Miranda warnings, okay?
Jayden has read his Miranda rights before proceeding with the interview. Following this, the detective begins to ask a string of personal questions relating to Jayden's living situation. Jayden says that he has been residing with his mom, although he travels to Rihanna's apartment every so often to see Raja. Apparently, Jayden and Rihanna had been living together in March of 2018, but over time, their intensifying arguments were becoming too much to handle, and Rihanna would eventually kick Jayden out of the house in May, 2 months later. However, they still remained in contact and continued with their tumultuous relationship. Now that the detective has pertinent information relating to Raja's father, he switches gears and asks about the day of July 13th.
And then I go back inside. I'm finna get my baby up. Not even up, just get her out the mouth, get her out.
Mm-hmm.
And she she was making noises. And I picked her up, and she was just clumsy.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, and my heart just dropped like, oh my, I was scared. And I called her, she wasn't that far. I called her and said, Mom, I don't know what's wrong with my baby. She said, what? I said, yeah, I just got her out. And then, she came back, and then, we made it up as soon as we came to the hospital.
When the doctor was talking to you, it sounded like there were some visible injuries on her. Where did those come from? Do you know?
What are you talking about?
I think you guys were talking about something on the head.
Yeah, there's a bruise, two bruises. She smacked her head on the end of her bed. That's what my girl was saying.
Mm-hmm.
She smacked her forehead on not the bed, but the hard piece that holds the bed.
Like the frame?
Not the frame. Bottom part? Yeah, the bottom part. What's it? The spring.
The box spring. Oh, box spring?
Yeah, the box spring.
Oh, okay.
She smacked her forehead. Boom. And she only cried literally for almost 15 seconds.
And when was that? Do you remember when she did that?
2 days ago.
Okay.
Supposedly, Raja wasn't usually a fussy baby, and it was uncommon for her to have a crying fit, even when hurt.
Okay, have you ever done anything to her that might cause some of the injuries, whether it's, pick her up or have her fall out of your lap or anything like that?
I dropped her a couple times when she was younger, but...
How long ago was that?
Probably a couple months ago.
Okay.
I dropped her while she was little.
Okay.
Sure.
Nothing recent, though, or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any injuries that you were able to observe from dropping?
When she was younger?
Yeah.
No.
So when you went to go check on her today in the car seat, did you notice anything wrong with her other than being limp?
No, I didn't think nothing was wrong with her. Literally, I just...
And was she breathing? And yeah, I know you mentioned at the hospital.
Yeah, she was making
talk a little bit. Was she able to?
No, she don't talk.
Not talk, but
moving mouth.
Yeah. Was she doing that?
She taking deep breaths though, and then air would come out of her mouth, and then I picked her up. That's when I picked her up. She was just clumsy. And I called my mom. Mom, I don't know. My baby, she's clumsy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She said, call 911. I said, where are you at? I said, come get me. And she was just down the street.
Okay.
And I was like, all right. But she really wanted me to call 911.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know. I was I was too pumped up and nervous. My baby.
And then what did you do until your mom showed up?
I hold her.
Okay. Did she fall or hit her head on anything in that amount of time?
No.
From the time you took her out of the car seat to the time that you get to the hospital, did anything happen to her that could have caused an injury or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Jayden apparently didn't make any attempt to revive his child. He may have been in such a state of shock that he didn't even consider it.
If any of the injuries were intentionally caused to her, who would have done it?
I don't really know.
Who do you think?
I don't know. I don't know who. Really. I really know.
You've never.
I know her mom. And her mom knows I won. That's my baby. That's my everything.
Sure.
Before going any further, let's take a look at the 24 hours leading up to the mysterious circumstances. On July 12th, just 1 day before the incident, Jayden and Raja had been staying with Rihanna at her apartment. However, what should have been a typical day for the family soon took an unexpected turn. Although it's unclear how, Rihanna had supposedly caught Jayden in his alleged infidelity, as she claimed he was seeing and speaking with other girls behind her back. In an instant, a heated argument had emerged. However, this was just one of many feuds between the pair. It wasn't long before Jayden called his mom, notifying her of the situation and pleaded for her to pick him up. Around 11 a.m., Tony made her way to the residence, where Jayden was ready to leave. The mother and son ran a couple of errands, but what they did following this has not been confirmed. Tony wouldn't take Jayden back to Rihanna's apartment until midnight of that same day, where the couple briefly spoke before heading off to sleep, supposedly having reconciled their argument. At 9 in the morning on July 13th, Rihanna woke up and got ready for work, while Jayden and Raja were sound asleep. That was until Rihanna's father, Arturio Anderson, came to the apartment to give Rihanna a ride to her job. Before they left, Jayden and Raja had woken up, where Arturio spent a short amount of time holding the child and carrying her around. Raja had reportedly been very fussy during that morning, but her parents chalked the unusual behavior up to her teething phase. Next, Jayden gave Raja a bath before Tony made her way over. Jayden and Tony claimed to have left the residence with the baby around 11 a.m. and drove straight to Casey's General Store to pick up a pizza. However, as we can see over video footage, Tony entered the establishment at 12:51 p.m. and retrieved the pizza while her son and granddaughter waited in the car. From there, they drove to Wesley Acres Senior Living, where Rihanna had been working at the time. She reportedly came out to the car to deliver food to Jayden, but supposedly didn't say hi to Raja, who was sitting in her car seat. This seems to be rather suspicious, but then again, she may have needed to return to work in a timely fashion. Regardless, Tony, Jayden, and Raja made their way to another stop, Panchero's Mexican Grill, where Tony spoke with a friend for approximately 5 minutes. Once again, her passengers stayed in the car. Finally, their errands were completed, and their final destination was Tony's house. Although the date of the security footage says July 14th, the video was actually taken on July 13th. We can see Jayden bringing Raja into the house at 2:24 p.m., and she's then left alone. At 2:25, we see Jayden again, this time without the child. A couple minutes pass before Tony unleashes Nala from her cage so Jayden can play with her outside. At 2:55, Jayden carries Raja out of the house and, in less than a minute, brings her back in, only to take her out one more time at 2:56. He gives her a kiss on the cheek. Tragically, as Jayden brings his daughter back inside, it's the last time that we will see Raja before something unspeakable is carried out. Next, we see another man come into view at 3:07, Tony's next-door neighbor, Benjamin Bolden. Apparently, Benjamin was walking down the street when he spotted Tony in her car and asked for a quick ride to the corner store. He and Tony are only gone for about 5 minutes before they return. Benjamin makes his way to the front door, while Tony leaves and heads to Blake's Auto Body and Exhaust Shop. Apparently, Jayden and Benjamin talk for a little over a minute before the neighbor heads home, leaving Raja alone with her father. Jayden claimed to have been setting off fireworks in the front yard, while Raja was still sleeping inside. However, we're unable to see this on the video footage. He supposedly finished with the activity once he ran out of live explosives and went back inside to play on his phone. Thinking that he should wake Raja from her nap, Jayden walked over to her car seat where she'd apparently been sleeping, only to find that something was more than a little off. He picked Raja up and was horrified to learn that the young child was completely unresponsive. In a panic, Jayden called his mom and asked that she take them both to the hospital before it was too late. Tony is notified of the situation while she's in the McDonald's drive-thru and immediately rushes home. At 3:46, Jayden runs out of the house with Raja in his arms. He and Tony make a mad dash to the hospital. Rihanna is made aware of her child's hospitalization soon enough, as she and Jayden alike are at a loss for words. As we already know, during this time, Jayden will eventually be taken in for questioning. However, another unexpected incident has arisen that also requires the attention of local authorities.
I was asked to go up here and move some of the family downstairs.
Yeah. Did you guys end up arresting somebody then? Is that what the story is?
Apparently, a fight has broken out between the families of Rihanna and Jayden on the hospital's 3rd floor. Devastated over Raja's injuries, Rihanna's family has a few words to get off their chests.
This doesn't make no sense. I'm sorry for y'all, but this is ridiculous. And I need adults to act like adults. There's a baby in there fighting for her
Part
life.
of the reason that we're having an issue
I know why you guys are having
is
an
that
issue.
there are other people here as well. There's
yes,
other
I know.
Babies, there are other babies here, and we're hearing MFing and cussing and everything from all the way. There are other families. That's the main
I know why you
issue.
guys are having fun.
That's the main
But
issue.
I'm trying to, I'm
But
like,
it wasn't me. That's all
It was after you guys were told this is private property. The security staff wants you to go,
wasn't me.
and everybody's freaking.
I don't understand why people just can't get it together. Like, you know, like, it's common sense. No,
I feel for you.
it's
Right?
common sense. Like, I need to, if I'm gonna lose my grandbaby, I'm gonna lose my daughter.
The whole group was lumped in together because they were warned before. Maybe you filtered in after the fact.
Everything, and I took everybody in there and made it. I did not.
There are other people here trying to
I
get
understand
treatment.
that. And I was trying to help you guys. I was trying to help them be quiet. I was trying to, but I wasn't cussing.
Okay, well-
I wasn't fighting. I didn't do anything. So why do
There's
the
because
great grandma?
there's so much stuff going on.
But
There's so
if
many-
everybody else
let me
has to
finish.
leave,
There's so
why
many
can't
people
I?
running around cussing that we can't
But
keep
it's
track
not
of who's
me.
listening and who isn't.
But it's not
Okay, well,
me.
blame your family then, because they were told, and they were asked to be quiet so that the other people could heal.
Then the one
and
that
the
you
baby
guys
could get
seen,
treatment without the medical
The
staff
one you
being
guys
interrupted.
seen should have got treated because
And
I'm
let me
getting
say it.
penalized for nothing. You can ask whichever man that was. That man, that other security, he said I could go back in there because he seen I wasn't doing anything.
Well,
You guys are just some prejudiced.
that's why they want you to leave, because there are other people.
That's why
that are
I
trying
said
to
that. I said it to you. You're a prejudiced.
Reportedly, both physical and verbal assaults had occurred, but this has not been confirmed. Regardless, additional officers are called to escort family members off of the premises.
But they've asked all the people that are not immediate family members to leave.
Well, I'm not immediate. I'm grandma. Am I immediate?
Are you mom for the child?
I'm mom to daughter.
Okay. You're not an immediate family member, all right? They've asked everybody, all right, because of the problems that we've had here, to leave.
Wow.
All right?
So if anything happens, we just gotta not be able to
Probably
see
go
our
home.
baby.
You guys go home.
Rihanna expresses her concerns, but the police have no choice but to comply with their original orders.
So you guys are gonna basically make me go through this alone while my mom and people that
I don't have anything to do with what's going on. I'm here to assist the hospital security, which feels like they can't deal with everything that's been going on. That's why you've been asked to leave.
During this time, a few officers make their way to Tony's house in an attempt to locate anyone that may be at the property.
Doesn't look that old. Hard to say.
going on. They're all.
I'll call in if you guys receive
I've had for a week now,
See if
and
anybody
it's
comes
not
out.
like they're not.
Although no one is there to answer the door, Tony quickly returns from the hospital along with Jayden's sister, Mackenzie Straight. Apparently, the mother and daughter had been involved in the fight with Rihanna's family, which actually occurred before Jayden was taken in for questioning. The woman driving the car is Molly McDonald, Mackenzie's stepmom, who supposedly picked them up from the hospital and drove them to Tony's house, where police are already waiting.
So is there anybody in the house now?
No.
No.
We didn't even know nobody was here.
Huh.
They just said we was cool to leave, but the people from the hospital, the ones that are trying to fight, they said even in front of the police officer, like, we'll catch you down the street when you pull off.
Okay. Who are these people?
My brother's baby mom's family.
What's their issue?
The baby stopped breathing, I guess, and so they're all up at the hospital. And so they're up there going crazy, talking about if anybody did anything to that baby, that they're going to put them 6 feet under.
The officer is simultaneously on the phone, likely speaking with the detective, informing them that Tony is needed to interview Jayden. From there, Molly drives her to the police station and, as we know, an intense conversation awaits. Now, the officers continue with their search around the property, where they find various items along the backyard. Although, as we will later see, this is nothing compared to the messy contents found inside of the house. Fast forwarding to later in the day, we continue on with Jayden's suspicious interrogation.
The injury had happened in the hours leading up to them showing up at the hospital. Is there anything then that you can think of that might have happened within the last couple of hours before you guys getting to the hospital that could have caused any sort of injury to her that would have changed the dynamic of her body?
You said by the time we going up to the hospital?
Yeah, so typically when kids this age show up to the hospital with injuries, it has happened within maybe an hour or two before, her getting there. Can you think of anything that would have happened to her, today that would have caused injuries that would require her to all of a sudden basically lose consciousness?
We didn't even do nothing. We just I fed her and we went to her house.
Okay.
And by the time we got to her house, she was asleep.
Okay.
It is undoubtedly clear that something isn't adding up. 1 minute, Raja was supposedly her normal self. The next, inexplicably unconscious. Or so, that's what Jayden asserts. Next, we're introduced to Detective Lori Kelly, who wastes no time in asking for the most critical information.
The problem we're having is, I've been up at the hospital speaking with the doctors, and your baby has very severe injuries. Severe injuries. Several broken ribs.
What? Ribs are broken?
Yes.
Oh, man. How does it happen?
Well, she's only 8 months, right? And so babies don't sustain injuries like that without another person being involved, okay?
Jayden seems genuinely surprised at the severeness of Raja's injuries. Perhaps he didn't realize the gravity of the situation until now.
You guys think that's for me?
You need to provide a different explanation if it's not from you.
It's not for me.
Okay.
Oh, why would I do that to my baby?
Because people lose their cool and they do things that are a split second. And if that was the kind of situation, you're right now in a position where you maybe can provide some information that could still be helpful for her. She's in surgery right now.
I know. I did that.
Okay. And so if there's something that you can tell us about what exactly happened to her, we can provide that information to the doctors so that they can perhaps apply that and help her more. Because right now they're guessing.
The medical trauma team has already assessed Raja's injuries and taken her into surgery, so any information obtained by police from Jayden wouldn't necessarily be needed to treat the baby's wounds. However, this statement by authorities is a very creative lie, as it's a common appeal to emotion that can possibly invoke a guilty confession.
She got hit hard in the gut. That's what happened to her.
Oh. That's what
the gut or the side. A crushing blow to her abdomen. That's what causes the kinds of injuries that she has. And the symptoms are immediate. And do you know what the symptoms are? The lymphness. How you said she was like a sack of potatoes when we picked her up? That's immediate. So what I'm telling you is the information that you have provided is not matching up to what the doctors are saying. Okay?
That's literally what happened all today.
No, that's not what happened today.
At this point, the investigator is presenting Jayden with evidence that cannot be explained by a simple childhood injury.
Okay.
See, my mother been with me.
Okay. If your mom saw that your baby was in distress, I have no doubt you would have driven immediately to the hospital.
I wasn't there.
Right. There is no doubt about it. You know more than what you have provided.
I just didn't call 911 because she was close.
Okay, and I can understand that you thought that perhaps she could be there close, quicker. I can understand that.
She wasn't that close, though. She's at the McDonald's over on the east side. You could have walked to the hospital before it took her the time to get there.
No, but she stayed. When I tell my mom to come speak or anything.
She's at the east side McDonald's. She's not that close.
I'm telling you, she got there quick.
There is no way that you walked inside and have no clue what happened to her. That is not one of the possibilities. And there is going to be a stream of medical professionals that will come in and say that these injuries are nothing but inflicted. And so either you lost your cool and you did something you wish you could take back, or you waited until you were alone and beat that baby. Those are the two options.
Don't really say I beat my baby.
Tell me what happened.
I just told you what happened all day.
This is a direct accusation, and we can see Jayden's immediate shift in demeanor. As the story unfolds, the investigator cuts off any avenue for denials or refuting of the evidence. In addition, by not calling 911, investigators may infer that Jayden intended for the baby to die.
You told me that baby was fine in the morning. A baby who is injured the way that she is injured cannot drink.
What?
Cannot eat.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you to my baby, to the heart. On hood, I didn't do nothing.
You did.
I did though.
You know exactly what happened to her. And you may be sorry for it. You may be ashamed of what you did. But there is no doubt that you did something to her. This is your opportunity. There is a stream of medical professionals, neurosurgeons, PICU specialists, ER doctors. They're all saying the same thing. These injuries don't just, I have no idea what happened, and all of a sudden she has a laceration to her spleen. Mm-hmm. No way. Listen to me.
I didn't do nothing today.
Okay, then what day did you do it?
I didn't do nothing to her.
This happened today.
I swear I didn't do it.
I don't want to hear that. That is not true. That doesn't just happen. This is a defining moment for you. This is when you either stand up and take responsibility for what occurred, or let everybody just think that you planned this.
I didn't plan it.
Were you trying to get...
I really didn't do nothing today. I really didn't, bro. Like, I don't even know what I could tell y'all. Like, that's not... that couldn't be from today.
No, it is from today. There is no doubt about it. Something happened today. There is no doubt about that. And so people are either going to have your version of what occurred or not, and they're just going to fill in the blanks. And what kind of blanks do you think that they're going to put in there? He was waiting for the moment to have that baby alone so he could kill him. That's what people are going to say.
Nothing happened. Nothing.
I'm telling you, you stick with this story. Where do you think that's going to land you?
Nowhere. But I know it's not it's nothing happened. Like, this is my story. Like nothing happened. Like, I didn't do nothing to my baby.
Don't you think you at least owe people an explanation?
What you mean?
This beautiful little girl was fine this morning. She's alone with you for a little bit, and now she's on the verge of death.
And I did that.
What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing.
Anything.
I didn't.
Not even your mom believes this story.
You don't believe this story?
I don't know.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't put my hands on that girl. That's my little baby girl.
Yes, it is. And you beat her to an inch of her life. Do you give a shit that your baby is dying?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
I don't know. Because you're not providing the information that could potentially help the doctors.
You don't believe me?
I never said that. That's just her saying that, leaving at you. I never said that.
You said I don't know, so that just made it more.
Eventually, Detective Lancaster asked Tony to speak with them alone, hoping to gain more information apart from what Jayden is providing.
What do you think about what he's saying?
I honestly don't know. I've never known him to be mean or...
And I think, I like to think that sometimes these things are accidents or that people lose control and stuff like that, which it's very possible that that's what we're running into. The roadblock that we have right now is that seemingly all day she's fine. Okay? And then there's like an hour of time where you're not in the house where more than likely these injuries occurred. I don't know if you pay any attention to his body language, but you can tell at some point in time it's weighing on him. He tells a lie and he sits back up. It's his way of deflecting, and we call it erasers and things like that, that when you make a lie and it goes over, you stand back up and your body language gets better. He gives the justification that nothing happened, which is highly unlikely. There has to be some sort of trauma there. And I think is what hurts the perception on him is that the more times he says that he doesn't do anything, it makes it harder to believe that it could have been an accident, or, you know, that he had a tough minute or two and that he acted in, you know, a fit for whatever reason, whether she was freaking out in the car seat or who knows what. There's a million reasons. I mean, what, you have 7 kids or something? Mm-hmm. I mean, so it's hard, right?
Tony is completely indecisive regarding the situation. Her behaviors can be attributed to shock, but it's still unusual that she doesn't react to being told about Raja's poor prognosis. And although she cannot seem to give any useful information, Tony complies with the detective's request to question Jayden without his mother in the room.
And you lift her up?
Yeah, I picked her up. And I bent down to my knees, and then I got her, like, sitting on the bed. And I'm just shaking her.
Okay.
Seeing her like, raise her.
Yeah. And then is she doing anything? Is she making any noises? Is it helping?
She made a couple noises.
Did she throw up or anything like that you remember?
No.
Okay.
Some snot came out of her nose.
Okay. Like a snot bubble or like runny nose?
A snot bubble and then like some like a runny nose.
Okay.
With like kind of like blood.
Came down. Some blood
was in it, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, bring her back up.
Okay.
And her head is nodding with her, like, her eyes are like this.
Okay.
Just barely looking. And then I sat her down. I was on the bed like, raise her.
Okay.
And she was just moving back and forth.
How long did that go on for?
Probably for like 2-3 minutes.
Okay. So.
Not like.
Yeah. I mean, you're not trying to hurt her or anything like that.
I'm saying like not like the whole 3 minutes. I like did it, stop. I was just tripping.
Okay. How did all these injuries happen to her? That's what I don't understand. Like I said, I'm trying to find out the source of the injury. How did these things happen?
I don't know. Like,
well, if you don't know, then who the hell knows?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
If you don't know.
Yeah.
But a doctor can say, hey, it happened in the last 2 hours and it's from blunt force trauma, and you're the only one that watched her in 2 hours. Then do you see kind of the predicament we're in?
Yeah, I see what y'all trying to get at, but I'm saying I didn't do nothing to her.
The suspect maintains that he did not lay a hand on his beloved daughter. Following the heated interrogation, the detective asks Tony and Jayden if he would be able to search their house that day for any possible evidence. They agree to meet one another at the home, but then something unexpected happens. As Detective Lancaster reaches Tony's house, he realizes that Jayden is no longer with her. She goes on to state that she dropped him off at Mercy Medical Center so he could be with Raja, but this would supposedly turn out to be a lie. Jayden never checked into the hospital after his time at the station. When Tony is confronted about where her son may be, she suddenly changes her story, stating that she had actually dropped him off on 6th Avenue near the hospital, but is unsure whether he went to the establishment. As the detective applies even more pressure to the topic, Tony gives up the truth. Apparently, she and Jayden had been a couple blocks away from her house when he requested to get out of the car. Still, she's not able to decipher where he could have gone. At least, that's what she says. When the detective is finally able to gain access to the home, it's hard to ignore the absolute chaos that entrenches almost every inch. Within the mess, they're able to locate Raja's bottle and car seat, a dirty mattress, and a video security system, in addition to several other items. Tony is questioned about the video cameras that are placed on the outside of her home, but she claims them to be inoperable, insisting that she doesn't understand how the program works. However, seeing as we've already viewed the recordings from July 13th, this too seems to be another lie. They're also shocked to find a live firework on the front porch, despite Jayden's claim that he didn't have any left. After leaving the residence, law enforcement was desperate to find the missing father, believing that he might have gone on the run. They were also concerned with the possibility that he may contact his mother during this time. Police were becoming increasingly skeptical of both Tony and Jayden, and when they finally sat down to speak with Rihanna, their suspicions grew to new heights.
I've never seen with my own eyes him hurt her. There's been times where I feel like, Jayden, you're being too rough. And I'm like, we can't be that rough with her.
It's unknown what Rihanna means by Jayden being too rough with the baby, but this could have certainly been a red flag indicating that Jayden was showing signs of being impatient or abusive toward Raja.
People were kind of like commenting like, they're so rough on her, but me, I'm standing right there and it's not rough, you know? So the eyes sometimes, I don't know how to like say it, like me personally being her mom and seeing everything being right there. No, I did not feel.
Okay, so now we're talking, well, you're saying ever, but we're talking from the time she was born up until the time in March when you moved in together. There is never a time where you thought he's going to lose his cool, or he's too rough with her, or he doesn't know what he's doing, or concerned for her safety with him. None of that kind of stuff.
No.
Okay. Was there ever, and I don't want to say was there ever a time where you guys got frustrated, because there was absolutely, all parents get frustrated.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Growing up, like, she's fuzzy, her teeth are going in. I was frustrated. I was up on it, you know. I got 9, I got probably 4 or 5 hours of sleep. So I was frustrated. I'm like, oh, Rachel, you know, but never to the point where I'm like, I want to hurt you, frustrated.
Is there been a time where you saw something on her that you're like, that's a bruise, where did it come from? Because babies they just don't really bruise. I mean, they don't, they're not walking and falling, right? So where are they getting bruises? So I'm wondering if there was a time where you saw a bruise on her, a mark on her that you thought, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
She's had things on her neck, like scratches and it looked like a heart, like a nick of it. I've questioned those.
Rihanna cannot seem to recall where the alleged bruises came from. However, what we are about to learn may have you drawing your own conclusions.
So that morning, you see her. Then the next time you see her is at your workplace.
Yeah, and let me clarify that so it's not getting misconstrued. No, I did not touch her, feel her. I seen her head, like she wasn't.
She's in the car.
Right.
Yeah, and you told me that.
It was a quick transfer of the food, kiss, goodbye, love you, bye, that's it.
Okay.
But I had seen she was in there.
Right. When we saw her in the hospital, tell me about the injuries you saw in the hospital that were new and different than the last time you saw her.
Head injuries, that's all I've seen. That's the most visible bruises that I've seen were her head. Once people started coming in, like my family, and getting to see her, someone had pointed out it looked like a bite mark. I don't know how true that is. It did look like a bite mark, but also I had to think about she had all those on her chest that were sticky, that if they were pulled off, it could have took the shape off. But they didn't. To me, when I looked at it, it did look like bite mark. But
no doubt you tried to have a conversation with Jayden, because you left your lady and she was fine. What conversations have you had with him? What is his response been to you?
When we got there, he's crying. He's really not, he's just asking, please, asking, when we got to Piku and we actually were in a conference room and stuff, I begged him, I got on my knees, please, if you did anything, just come forward. Like, it's too late, you know. It's too late for you not to. It's already been done. He's like, I had nothing to do with this, you know, the whole time.
Apparently, Jayden's sister had children living with another couple at the time. When informed of the incident, one of the children had supposedly asked a startling question: did Jayden do it? When asked why they would think that, their response was even more unsettling. Although this has never been confirmed, the child claims to have seen the young father physically strike Raja to, quote, hear her cry. And this would not be the only chilling rumor to circulate within the community. As reported in the case files, a source told investigators that Rihanna and Jayden would allegedly put Raja in the basement if she began to cry, along with placing dirty clothes on top of her so people could not hear from upstairs. There's no evidence to prove these claims, but the sheer possibility makes the thought all the more terrifying.
When I got there, you know, he was on the ground in tears. The whole time, like, me and my family, his family and my family, we have a long, like, nobody likes him, you know, my family. Like, he's running up to people that he's never even seen in my family and crying, you know, in their arms, hugging them. What I seen, I felt like was not insincere and it couldn't be fake. My mom has the biggest issue in the world with him. And she even told me, you know, because I've talked to my mom, I'm like, Mom, what do you think, you know? And she's like, I don't see, if he did do it, you know, he's doing a good job at faking it. And I don't, and it's like,
So, Brianna, what do you think?
I feel like deep down in my heart, like, I feel like his mom full-fledged has something to do with it.
And why do you say that?
Just our history, like, she's always been weird towards me. Like, you know, everything she says to me before I was even pregnant, I feel like it's been forced. You know? Like, she's forcing herself to talk to me. Seeing her sit there with no emotion whatsoever, that was a little weird to me. The whole time, I just felt like she was just sitting like this, you know, just looking at her, just thinking, like, what have we done, or what have I done, or whoever, what did I let happen? We run around like this. When I first got there, Jayden was outside to himself, you know, crying. My dad was back there in the emergency room. I asked her, tell me what happened. She looked at me, put her head back down, shrugged her shoulders, and said, I don't know. And I just feel like to not even look me in my eyes and genuinely say that you don't know what happened, and you weren't there at all, and people, the doctors are coming out and telling you.
It's important to remember that Rihanna's comments and suggestions about Tony are unproven allegations and not factually stated.
Our family that your granddaughter is in a coma and you don't shed a tear or do anything, I feel like that is strange. So that's just my gut feeling, and I'm not putting this past Jayden at all because she was left in his care. And at the end of the day, I know he knows something because, and even if he wasn't there, you know who was there, you know how long you were gone, you know, like he has something to do with this. He's saying I was outside and I came in to check on her and this is how she was. That's what he said.
Where did he tell you that she was? When he went outside, where was she?
He told me she was on the bed in the living room.
And so, and that is not what he's with us.
I put the baby in the car seat, gave her a bottle.
So that's, I mean, obviously that's concerning, right? He's giving you one story and he's giving us another as far as where she was. So, you know, she does have,
I know about our injury and I know how serious they are and I don't want to hear, like, about it anymore. I've said it to him plenty of times. I see a demon in you, in your eyes. Like, you look like a demon to me. But I always wanted to fix that. I always thought I could.
It appears that Rihanna is uneasy even when talking about Jayden's darker side. Supposedly, the teenager did in fact have a short-fused temper and was allegedly involved in gang activity. This would lead to his short period of time in a juvenile detention center where he remained during Raja's birth. In addition, he would reportedly take out his anger on Rihanna as the two supposedly engaged in violence, and on one occasion, he allegedly hit Rihanna during an argument. But what caused a rift between their families was Jayden's alleged infidelity while the mother of his child had been pregnant. Not only this, but he was apparently controlling of who Rihanna could have relationships with.
He's a part of it, but I don't want to believe that he was a part of it physically.
But now, Jayden was nowhere to be found, although that wouldn't last for long. As July 14th rolled around, the suspect wasn't completely in the shadows. Around 12:30 in the afternoon, Detective Lancaster received a call from Tony's phone, although it wasn't her on the other end. Shockingly, Jayden had used the phone to make contact, telling the detective that he would call him again after his sister's dance practice, and they could set up a time to meet that day. It came as no surprise when Jayden never followed through. At that point, the hunt for the teenager was swiftly underway. But it wouldn't be long before Jayden was contacted by another officer.
Here's the deal, Jayden. I talked to your mom. I talked to your dad. I've just kind of let them know what's going on here. Detectives, they're still wanting to talk to you. I don't know what happened yesterday. They're saying that you took off running. You guys are saying that you thought the meeting was over. So there's some sort of miscommunication that happened here. You want to get this thing over with, or do we need to go the warrant route?
After the last day and a half of attempting to locate Jayden for another interview, he's finally willing to show his face. On July 15th, we see him entering the interrogation room at 2 in the morning, and Tony isn't too far behind.
All I want to do is just do a little bit of follow-up with you guys in regards to some of the information that we learned today, okay?
Tony calls Jayden's father, Ryan Straight, so he can overhear the interrogation. Jayden has read his Miranda rights and given the opportunity to deny speaking without a lawyer present. However, he and his parents agree to talk.
All right, Jayden, what can you tell me about what you learned today?
What I learned today?
Yeah.
I didn't learn none. I talked to Rihanna a little bit. She told me a little bit info. I heard you said I ran from somewhere.
Ran from somewhere?
Yeah, they said you said I ran or something. I'm running or I ran out of the car.
The police guy out there.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought he was here. Huh?
When we were going back to the house yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't tell anybody you ran. I mean, your mom told me that you got out of the car.
Yeah, I got out on 6.
Yeah. Why?
What?
Yeah.
I was gonna go to the hospital, but I got a ride. I went to go smoke, go chill, go relax.
So you wanted to go smoke, chill, and relax, and you didn't want to see your daughter?
No, I did, but I couldn't go up there.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't go up there, so I want to go up there, but I can't go up there.
Oh, okay. Well, what else did you guys talk about today?
Today, she gave me a little info talking about she's on the same, like she's not doing that, she's doing the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She had a couple of brain tests, and she failed one.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard a status update since then? Okay. Tony, have you heard anything?
I never really went to the hospital, is what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jayden. Yeah, Jayden, at 7:51 today, your daughter passed away. There was no brain activity. She was alive because of electricity, and they discontinued any forms of life support.
Jesus Christ. Look. Fuck
Yeah, I can't even go up there.
I don't understand why there wasn't a both.
So Jayden, I know specifically, I really only got a couple questions for you, okay? It's not going to be like yesterday. This isn't going to be a long, drawn-out thing. I essentially wanted to ask you is that obviously, you know, the way that this investigation goes takes a turn anytime that there's a death. Is there anything else that you can think of that we didn't cover, you know, yesterday that may have caused her to get these injuries that ultimately cost her life? Is there anything at all that you can think of?
No. This was supposed to be configured. This was supposed to be configured for yesterday. Do you have specific questions for James?
Yeah. Yeah, my question is...
If there's anything else you can add. Do you have a specific question for him?
Yeah, Jayden, what did you do to kill your daughter? That's a specific question.
I didn't do nothing to my daughter.
Okay, but she was in your care. She goes to the hospital and dies. So what happened to her when she was in your care? That's what I want to know. I want to know what happened to her, what injuries she got in your care yesterday that resulted in her going to the hospital and dying.
I didn't do nothing to her.
So is that's going to be...
What?
Jaden,
Yeah.
did you cause these injuries to Rachel?
No, I didn't.
We have no further questions for that. We don't have anything further for you.
Okay.
From this point forward, James got a lot of going.
Okay. All day when I've been attempting to get a hold of you and I haven't heard back from you or haven't gotten calls or text messages or anything, or you haven't came to the station, is what I've been doing is I've been talking to the Polk County Attorney's Office and judges that are in Polk County, which is the county that we live in, and they have approved charges against you for the death of your daughter. Okay, today you are going to be charged with murder in the first degree and child endangerment resulting in death. Okay, both of those are felonies and you will be charged as an adult. Okay, is what's going to happen is I'm going to step out, I'm going to do some paperwork, and we're going to get you transported up to the Polk County Jail where you'll be processed.
And I'll be in Polk County?
I don't know if you stay in Polk County or if they bring you to JCI. Okay, and with it being so close to your 18th birthday, I'm not really sure. Once I get done with the paperwork, we'll get them transported up to the jail, okay?
No. Okay? There's no point. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Jayden is finally placed under arrest for one of the most shocking crimes that the nation has ever seen. Doctors soon revealed a final shocking discovery. Raja's brutal rib fractures were consistent with shaken baby syndrome. Not only was Jayden definitely the reason his daughter died, but this was no accident. Her death was the result of a deliberate attack. It can be assumed that he never intended for his daughter to survive.